I know that you started something called Unlimited Agents, though. I know
Yeah.
we're going to be moving on to the next topic, of course, of like startups and AI agents, and I think that's one thing that you're definitely a lot more specialized in talking about. If you could explain a little bit more of that for me and the large audience as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, so increasingly over these past couple months, I became more AI pilled. I think it's just such an exciting time to be alive. It was actually when I was working, in tech sales. One company we were trying to work with was Block, and Block made announcements. I think they laid off maybe 30% of their staff, saying like, this is about AI. We're way more efficient now. We don't need all these people. And it just kind of had like a doomerism approach, is what I saw on LinkedIn. A lot of people are like, oh, AI this, AI that.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are definitely going on the AI doom approach.
Yeah.
I know we're basically in an AI revolution right now. But I guess in terms of like when they see the job market and the whole news of AI is going to be taking jobs, which there is definitely correlation to, they instantly dive in deep into the doomer mindset and say, oh my gosh, it's the end of everything and all that stuff, and everyone just becomes so negative and they want to take out AI in schools, which I think that's another topic for another time, but they're just taking such a very negative approach to it.
Yeah. Well, I think the idea of how I came up with Unlimited Agents, it started with a guy named Guillermo Rauch. He's the CEO and founder of Vercel. He actually made a post saying like, hey, AI has been incredible for our businesses. We're doing really well. Here's our numbers. We're planning to hire another 300 people just because business is going so well, and we just want to share the love with the people. And like for me, I think that was cool, right? Like this is such a empowering thing. The fact that anyone, of course, there's some barriers to entry, right? You have to learn how to like properly prompt it, but like technically anyone can build anything, right? And it just opens up so much opportunity for people. So that was the inspiration for behind the brand, Unlimited Agents. Science kind of like stands for unlimited agency. If you had the ability to do whatever you wanted in this world, what would you go out there and pursue? What do you want this world to look like? So that was the thoughts behind the brand. My goal is to interview top leaders in the AI space, particularly startup founders. I think when I went to San Francisco, I met a lot of YC founders. These guys were like 19 years old, talking about, like, yeah, we're about 250K ARR. Now, obviously that's a small number right now, but like the fact that someone had the confidence to drop out of school, go full time on something like that, just the enthusiasm with AI and where it could take you in your life, that was something that really inspired me.
I mean, at 19, I was just trying to pass calc, bro.
Same, yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to pass this test, and then they're already getting like 250, I mean, $250,000 in funding already for their startup, and I'm like, that's, in my opinion, that's nuts.
Definitely, yeah.
Looking at how the new teenagers are moving nowadays, I'm just like, oh my gosh, how are like it makes me feel like, what was I doing at night?
I think it's one of those things like we are seeing somewhat of a K-shaped economy in the sense that if you look at like the content that's out there, I think increasingly you're having people who are wasting their lives away, doom scrolling, but you're also having a lot more people that are locking in. There's so much, I guess, people who have created content. Like, for example, I'm a big Andrew Huberman fan. Those stuff that he released during COVID, if you follow those principles, you're absolutely going to improve your life. And you can see the people that, are following what's out there. The ability to build a business right now, it's not that hard. You had people like Hormozy online, now all these YC companies are essentially their own production teams. They're sharing you the secrets of the game. And if you are wise, if you are going to pay attention, there's definitely an opportunity for you to improve there.
You said you were a big Andrew Huberman fan, and you really liked the stuff that he put out in COVID. What exactly, specifically, impacted you during that time?
Yeah, I mean, for myself in general, I think it was a rough moment in my life. I was just finishing up freshman year, and I think, a lot of times you're young, you kind of like drink a lot to fit in. And so I would have like at least maybe 2 drinks a night, which is not terrible, but not ideal. And when I got back home, it was just me inside the house. My parents were there. It's a couple guys from high school, but I started feeling really lonely and started drinking a little bit more. When he kind of articulated just, if you want to live a better life, if you want to be healthier, follow these protocols. I was finally able to get my sleep in order. Lifelong, I've struggled with my sleep. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but getting morning sunlight especially will kind of realign your circadian rhythm. It'll allow you to, learn how to get up at a certain period of time, go to sleep in a certain period of time. And I think all of those things just in unison really allowed me to feel like I could be a functioning adult and be productive in society.
And I mean, I definitely could relate. I mean, I was once a college student myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I graduated a couple of years ago, but definitely a lot of people who, especially who come from immigrant parents, and they come to college for the first time and they get exposed to all these things like drinking, drugs, and a lot of not necessarily good influences that you should be taking in. But then because of peer pressure, they end up kind of succumbing to it at least a little bit. What advice would you give to any other 18 or 19-year-old who is a freshman? They're lonely because they haven't necessarily made any new friends yet, and they feel like life is basically over. It's done. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I was extreme as like feeling like my life was over, but I would say that I definitely felt lost and I felt empty. Understand that this satisfaction in life comes from you doing the work, right? That is ultimately something that you've kind of aligned with your purpose and mission. It's important to kind of think inward, think about your life, think about what is really, I guess, gotten you passionate over the years, what really intrigued you, and figure out how you can get that in alignment. Literally, that's the entire purpose of university, in my opinion. Figure it is what you want to do, and now take advantage of these 4 years you have to just learn, connect with industry experts, and understand like how you can set up a pathway for you to go out and achieve that.
You mentioned that you were in San Francisco and you met up a lot with the YC founders and a lot of the people in the startup space. What was your experience, I guess, with the whole startup ecosystem in San Francisco, and how do you compare it to other big cities like Austin, Texas, or New York City that also have large tech hubs?
Yeah, I mean, I visited San Francisco for about 2 weeks in June. Amazing experience. I was there for the day. And yeah, I mean, I think New York has a great tech scene. Austin, I would say, is a little bit smaller, but there's no place like San Francisco. Especially right now, the level of enthusiasm and just the amount of, I guess, grind people are putting in. Now, a lot of this is grind slop. Some people will say,
Grind slop?
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard of the Corgi guys, but they're just like, yeah, we work 996. We'll sometimes even work on Sundays too. I feel like a lot of that stuff is performative, but it's also fun too, right? You're getting to build revolutionary companies. There's not as much barriers to entry. People are giving out credits pretty openly. And I don't know, like it's one of those things where it was just empowering to see that, especially for a young person, right? I met Jared Friedman, who's like a partner at YC. He did a talk for us, and it's just like, you can actually go out and build a company. You can connect with all these people. Just the San Francisco YC mantra, you can just do things.
How would you rate the experience in New York City, though?
New York City is one of one. It is the most fun city in the United States. I think almost everyone will agree with me on that. San Francisco, like I said, it's great. It's a wonderful place to lock in, meet other like-minded people, especially if you're in tech. New York City, you have every single industry there. So it's a place where you can find a lot of convergence of ideas. You can walk into a room, and unlike San Francisco, you wouldn't expect that everyone's in tech. You can hear that, other people are doing other cool things. And you can also see, like, in terms of my mission and what it is that I want to do, how can I align some of the gifts of everyone around me and also see how I can provide value to the table as well?